So guys, I'm going to be doing a review on Shadows of the Damned, a Suda51 trip, and I had a lot of fun with this game. So, Suda51, if you don't know, he is a kind of out there game designer. He created things like Killer 7, No More Heroes 2, and he created this, and he's recently going to be creating a game called Lollipop Chainsaw, which I will be playing. It's on that board if you can see it in like the back. So this game is about Garcia Hotspur, and his girlfriend gets chased away, or she, I'm sorry, she gets kidnapped by, I believe the guy is called Fleming, and you have to go save her, and then you have your sidekick, which is named Johnson. This is also a nice little joke all the way through the game. So anyway, Johnson is right there. He has like a gun, and he can change into different types of guns. And I'm not going to edit that out because I'm too lazy. But anyway, he can change into different guns, and he can change into a pistol, a machine gun, a shotgun, and all those get powered up. And you can spend red gems to power all the weapons up. And you also can you can also upgrade his health status, which I believe I went all the way on that for all those red gems. And you can collect a lot of red gems in the entire game. I think you can find a whole bunch that are hidden around, which I didn't really get to. So you could probably max them out by the time you have to beat Fleming at the end. So I'm going to be talking about, one, the gameplay, how fun it was, probably the story, and like whether you should buy or rent it. And right now, Shadows of the Damned is pretty cheap. But anyway, so the gameplay is rather predictable. You get like the same sort of things like a lot of action games have. For instance, you have to do a couple of quick timer events, and some of them are restricted to like opening doors, and whenever enemy is behind you, like you would see in my playthrough, and then you can hit them, and then you can shoot them and attempt to get like a headshot, which I think is like a critical attack, and I wasn't quite sure how that worked, because I would hit the enemies in the head, and it would not give me that critical shot. It slows down and does a little animation or whatever. Now, I think it was because of how the enemies were, I think they were opening their mouth or something. Maybe that's how I did it. If you want me to revisit it, I will. But the gameplay was pretty simple for an action, third-person action shooter game. So, one of the things you could do is do 180-degree turns like you could in Resident Evil now. So that helps a lot to get the enemies in back of you, but most of the time you'll see B flash up, and then you can press B and then smack the enemy behind you and get a free shot. So I don't know how useful it'll be unless you're fighting a whole bunch of guys around you. And there were a couple of instances where there were a lot of guys around me, and it was really hard, especially whenever I was low on life and I had to try to beat all these enemies, and the darkness in this game, which is a big part of this game. So whenever you first get to the underworld, I believe that's what it's called, you run into the darkness. Not the game, the darkness, but this is dark matter. I'll call it dark matter so you don't get confused what I'm talking about. But whenever this happens, the game turns a bluish, blackish color, and you have to shoot a goat with your light shot, which each of the weapons have, which is very nice for some of the the boss battles that you need for that, and whenever the enemies gain the dark matter. So you would have to shoot those enemies with the light shot, and then you can like damage them normally. Now, whenever the dark matter like encompasses the level, you have to find the goat, or you have to get the hell out of there. You have only those two options, which is really like you really have to hurry and try to get out of there as soon as possible, because you have like this meter which allows you to be in the darkness for a certain amount of time, and then it takes away your health. So you really can't stay in there for a long time. However, they did do a really good job of using the darkness to solve puzzles and beat certain enemies, and it was pretty well done. And it could have been like really bad, but the game handled it pretty well. So it was a pretty big part of the game. Like a lot of the boss battles, you had to be inside the darkness to actually hurt the boss. Like the one I was like fighting, that was pretty much like a centaur, I believe, or I think it was riding a horse. Yeah, it was riding like a zombie horse or whatever, and on his back it had the places where he had to shoot, and it was encased by darkness. So there are certain moves where he would take a dump, and it would create the dark matter. So you would have to go in there and then fire with whatever weapon you choose and like destroy those parts, because it's coming from the darkness and it will destroy it, which was pretty cool. So I liked all those aspects of it. One of the things that I felt that was kind of bad for the game, where sometimes the controls got kind of... I mean, sometimes the controls and camera kind of got in the way of attacking certain enemies, and sometimes they had some issues where enemies would hit me, and it looks like there was a glitch in a level. So apparently, like one of the giants that you had to shoot with your your hot big boner or something. Yeah, it's this type of game. So you had to shoot those enemies, and one was in this level that I went into, and I killed it, and then I went back out of the room, and then I came back in the room, and then it did the actual cutscene. Now, I'm not sure if I was supposed to be in there or anything, but that is a really minor thing about the game. So, the gameplay was pretty good. It controlled really well, and there was only a couple of instances where I felt that it was kind of wonky. Besides that, it's pretty solid in the gameplay department. Now, the story is pretty predictable. It's like one of those old action movies where the character's girlfriend gets kidnapped and he has to go save them, or the character's girl gets like killed and then he goes on a revenge. It's pretty much like that. It's like an old western. And the guy that you are, Garcia Hotspur, is like a demon hunter, and his girlfriend apparently gets kidnapped by the main villain, Fleming, and then you have to go and save her. And what was really cool, and this is kind of a tangent, but all the levels reminded me of, Ghouls and Ghosts, or Ghosts and Goblins, whichever you played. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Like, it had that sort of screen whenever you went to different levels, which was really cool. But anyway, the story was pretty good. I'm not going to spoil it for you, because I don't know how many of you are just going to skip to this video. But it pretty much just follows the tried and true character. Girl gets kidnapped / killed. Character goes on a revenge kick, and then the character tries to save the girl. So it's pretty lackluster. But what makes the game are all the characters in the game. like Garcia Hotspur and Johnson. They're funny as hell. And sometimes the dialogue is kind of provocative, I would say. Actually, probably more perverted. Especially all the weapons in the game. Especially whenever Johnson's just the pistol, aka the boner. And then it turns into the hot boner. Yeah, and then you go to this level where he like talks to like this chick or whatever, and you hear him go yeah, and then it like elongates, which is pretty funny. And then like at the end, he does like a little rap thing, which is pretty hilarious. And then you can like listen to them read like different stories about some of the bosses that you fight, which is really cool. So the story was okay. The characters were pretty good. I had a lot of fun playing the game because of the characters, and the game controls were pretty good and solid. So the story was okay. Characters pretty damn good, like a lot of Suda51 games before it. So to recap, the gameplay was pretty solid. The story itself was okay. The characters in the game are pretty dang cool. And so, do you want to rent or buy this game? Or pass on it? Rent, buy, or pass. That's what I'm going to have as my verdict. So, since this game is probably pretty cheap now, so I saw it for like $15. I might go and play this again. I would probably keep it around for a little bit. So, I would recommend, if you like an action game in Suda51, you should buy this game definitely. If you like an action game that you want to play on a weekend and beat it real quick, this is a pretty fun time to spend the weekend playing. So I would recommend you buy this game if you're a Suda51 fan, and if you're not, just probably go ahead and rent it off of GameFly or I think Blockbuster if you have those still open, or Family Video or whatever. So I definitely recommend you play this game, but it depends on if you're a fan of Suda51 or not, that you should buy it. And plus it's pretty cheap, so that's my review for this game, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it made you a decision about this game if you have been kind of on the fence, and it hasn't really been talked about much, so I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next time on another Game Center review. So, I will catch you guys later.